I'm here, and so are you, and we are ready to have a fantastic gem collector show with Shawn, because Shawn is right here, rocking and rolling. You know what? Most likely, almost, if not, depending on how far we get, every item you're going to see today is an item you will never have seen before. Asif and the team can attest to it, because I had to make sure when I sent over the file that I put in the notation, just because not used to that many items, and it takes time to get those items entered. Want to make sure they had the time to do it. They did it. We're ready to go. To get to all those items means I have to start with those comments now. Hope everybody's enjoying the fall. We have some surprises coming up. We're going to announce just after these comments and trivia. So, not to forget the other three last week that got their trivia answers in. It was Cindy, Anthony, and Miss Barbara. I just added your names in addition to this week as winners, so that they get the extra bonus, because we didn't do trivia last week. Timing was off on when the show popped up, and there wasn't really enough time to be fair all the way around. And we do like to be fair. Let's get started. Okay, so starting off was a comment from Jimbo, and that was from the week before. So, you know, I really pull the comments, well, that's because that week was kind of messed up, but usually you have up to Thursday morning to get a comment in and it be entered into the show. So, Jimbo, which is in Delaware, which I think he made a joke about, because I think I had Jimbo in Massachusetts one time. I think I had him in Pennsylvania another time. So he made sure that I knew it was Delaware. I won't forget you there, Jimbo. All right. So, let's get started. All right. This is Jimbo from Delaware. Ha ha. That's a clue. Hello, Shawn. Another great show as always. Answer to questions. This was last week, remember? The week before. Nephrite and Jadeite and Akoya. He would have got them all right. And in parting, keep your eyes to the ground. Best of all, Jimbo. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania, as I well know. Hello, Rock family. Wow, some awesomeness this week. Early on Monday morning. Great resolution, and we can always count on Barbara letting us know when the show shows up late, and Miss Cindy when, let me see, it's not my department, when the pixels aren't enough, something like that. When it's a 720 instead of a 1280. How about that? Or if I sound like I'm in the bottom of an aquarium. But sounds like everything was rocking and rolling along well there also. Wow. So, early on Monday morning, great resolution and wonderful specimens and gems. I agree with Anthony 100%. I look forward to hearing from everyone each week, as well as the specimens. And you know, you weren't alone, Miss Cindy or Anthony. There were, yeah. And that's what we always felt, and that's why the show was set up that way from the very beginning. And I'm talking 6 years ago. I'm talking about 306 shows ago. The commentary part at the beginning. And it's really very educational. It allows you to get your input in, answered straight away, and it creates a community. And that's what gem shopping was about from the very beginning. We always called it the gem shopping family. Now, yeah, we got a little bit bigger as time went on, but for those of us that have been here 15, 20, 25 years, it still is a family amongst us, and we would like for you to have that same feeling, even though it's sometimes tough to carry that forward as you grow. But in this show, in our world, downstairs where it's quiet in the back of a really neat area that was created to produce and record this show, it is our own world, and you're part of that. So, yeah, so I agree with both of you as well. I like the comment section as well, and it is obviously a consensus there. So, answers. Okay, well, I guess before I give you the answers, I guess I should give you the questions. There were 3 of them, actually. Oh, yeah. What sodalite member has strong tenebrescence or reverse photochromism. Now the two words are used interchangeably. It's not two separate things. I should have made that a little clearer, but I think you guys got the idea. Now remember, tenebrescence or reverse photochromism means that's when I was going underneath the table. And remember, I had the Monday 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. live show for 9 years. Just that's one spot, Monday. It was a long-held spot that the Raven and I really developed it, and that's where many of you come from to this day and have followed me from. So we used to go, there was a desk. The only dark place there was underneath the desk, and that was before the way the nicer desks are now. And we could, that's where I tested for fluorescence. And, well, let me give you the answer. The answer being Hackmanite. Yep, Hackmanite. So I had some amazing facet and beautiful cabochon quality Hackmanite. And it fluoresced like a, those mandarin oranges. I mean, boom. It would go from a light violet to that bright orange. But the thing about tenebrescence is it would, or the sunlight, it changes its color, but then you put it in a dark room, kind of like the opposite of maybe a what gremlins do or something, and it would change back. So that's where the reverse photochromism comes in. Not too many gems do that to the extent that Hackmanite does. If you like optical phenomenon stones, you have to have a Hackmanite. Yeah, they're great. And no, I don't think I have any more to part with. I did sell some a couple years ago here, though. Couple years in my world now probably means 3 or 4. Answer being Hackmanite. Triplite, this is question number 2, has a chemical formula of Mn2+, that 2+ being important, PO4. Is it magnetic? What, magnetic without any iron in it? Is that possible? Absolutely possible. Yes, the answer being yes. And we get a chance, maybe I'll show you that today, because it's paramagnetic, which is supposed to be a little bit lesser magnetic, but I have some triplite that maybe it's the neodymium magnet. Now, I told all of you the best place to get those magnets, and if you missed out on that, just go to last week's show. Yep, cheap ploy to get you to watch last week's show. And also, let me make a note, because I often haven't gone over some of the older I guess, rules of the road sometimes. We're 24/7 here at Gem Shopping. In other words, once my show ends, doesn't mean your shopping stops. Go back to all those shows, and many shows are there for you. And I'm just gonna, you can do this. Let me tell you, Miss Penny has jumped into the fray big time, and I am really excited because a whole list of items she went back to different shows and wrote down, and I'll address that in a minute. And that's just it. Now, let me tell you how that works. Okay, so these items, once I show them, once you see them on Monday, they go into a memo department in inventory, and they're made accessible for anybody to purchase them. If during that period they are in inventory, if they're sold, the sales reps can tell you, oh, sorry ma'am, that item's sold. Once that memo closes, in other words, inventory can't hold week after week of the inventory, they return the unsold items back to me. At that point, it leaves the computer system of Gem Shopping. So the sales reps will only be able to tell you, they'll be able to tell you if it had already sold previously, but they won't be able to tell you if it's available going forward. But it may be just sitting in my office. So that said, you write down the item number, and you can do it as simply as what Miss Penny did, send in a list, and we will hunt up each individual item. You don't know whether they're sold or not at that point. So that's how some of the paperwork happens. So in other words, I'm sorry, ma'am, we don't have that in our system, does not mean it's sold. And I'm talking about going back months ago of shows. So keep that in mind. You can shop 24/7. Call that number that you see on your screen. A lot of the sales reps have been around for a long time. They're familiar. Come posting of this show on Monday, they get flooded with phone calls straight away and are more than happy to help you with it. I've gotten nothing but compliments on their willingness to work with it. I think they actually enjoy selling something different. Rocks and minerals, like, oh, what is, pyromorphite kind of thing. And if you're wondering, yes, that was a clue. Okay, so that's why keep a pen and paper by you to write down, maybe first choice, second choice, third choice, those kind of things. Or, I don't have the money this week, I might have it next week, write the item number down, or you can always go back and look at the shows again, not only for the item, but for the knowledge and information as well. The only thing you can't go back is after I asked a trivia question, you can't go back and watch the show again to get the answer to the trivia question. You got to answer the trivia question from, well, as soon as you hear the trivia question, you can't watch the show again unless you participate in, well, unless you're not going to participate, I guess I should say, in the trivia. Then watch it all the time. But you can watch it many, many times before, once I say, okay, it's trivia time, all right, just turn it off right there. Go watch the show a couple more times. Let all that knowledge sink in, and then you'll be able to get the answer right. All right, that was question number 2. So yeah, triplyte is magnetic due to Mn, manganese. Now, we won't get too complicated about this because I am real proud of how far along many of you are with the chemistry thing. You guys didn't like it in high school. You didn't like it in college if you took it then. So I'm certainly not going to give it to you at when you're in their 50s, 60s, 40s, whatever it may be. But when you learn just a few basic things, it really, like I said, it's kind of like sometimes that last piece of the puzzle. The 1,000-word piece of a puzzle. It's like, then it all comes together. It's like, oh, I understand it now. And I am giving you those basic building blocks so that that big puzzle is able to be put together without getting all the kids involved and people helping you out and leaving it on the table for a couple years, that kind of thing. All right, question number 3 was Hibshite. What kind of name is that? Hibshite is a name for what mineral? Now, I could have used mineral, I could have used gemstone, there are a couple different ways I could have done that. But the answer I was looking for was basically grossular garnet. But I'd accept garnet in general. That gives you a general idea. Okay, those are the questions. Let's go back. Those are the questions and answers. Let's go back to the comments. All right, that means a different piece of paper. I'll be reading you the same thing from last week. Okay, so Cindy says Hackmanite, triplyte is magnetic, and Hibshite is the grossular family. Well done, all 3. Enjoying the waning warm days of fall. Ugh. I'm ready for, well, we're in the south, the warm days to be over. We are getting cooler by the day. Christmas/January 2025 is hitting us in the face before we know it. Time flies, whether or not you're having fun. Boy, that's the truth. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania, as she writes it, would like to go to Arizona till March. Let's see, Arizona, maybe that would be, I would go 12/23 to January 1st. That's winter. Yeah, I know. I've been to Tucson for over a decade in the first week of February. And at nighttime, it's nice and cool. And the daytime, not bad. I have been to Vegas in May. And you might as well be on the surface of the sun, miserable, horrible. And that's why they've arranged it, like for all the shows, you could actually go through all the buildings and everywhere without ever setting a foot outside. Well, I'm a rock hound. I'm a Mother Earth person. If my feet don't touch some natural Mother Earth ground, and I'm not talking about parking lots, or I'm not talking about, you know, a grass sidewalk, you know. Raven always said when she went out there, she goes, "Where's the desert? Where's the desert?" Well, you're not going to see the desert unless you go to a fake desert in Vegas, which there probably is one, along with a fake everything else. So, Arizona, Flagstaff. I love northern Arizona. I don't know. Too hot. People too weird. The sun's baked everybody's brains out there, you know. But there are some good rock hunting out there. Great rock hunting out there, I should say. All right. Now, Jimbo in Delaware. Hello, Shawn and fellow rock stars. Another great informative show and items. Hope all are doing fine. I am. Meaning, that's what he said. He is. Another great informative show. Answers to trivia, Hackmanite. Question number 2, yes. Number 3, garnet, which I will accept. Well done. Keep your eyes to the ground. Blessings to all. Jimbo, well done. Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts. Hello, all. Just hanging with my dogs today. Been busy. Yeah, by the way, I told Raven what you wrote, and of course, you know, she's a big pet person. I'm a pet person. Not quite the level of her, but yeah, pets is, I'm a little bit more exotic. I remember have the pheasants, the quail, you know, I was going to populate the backyard with pheasants and all that. Yeah, I'm a wildlife animal kind of lover. Just hanging with my dogs today. Been busy, lots going on. Nice to breathe and be in nature with my dogs, sitting on top of Blue Hill outside Boston, looking back at the city. Keeping my eyes down. That would be cool if I could train my pups to spot or sniff out minerals. Anyway, hope all the Rock family is well. He was opting out because he had won previously, and it was a good time to opt out. Anthony had some great answers, and very close, because he said Aween, or Awen, or 2 or 3 other ways you can pronounce that gemstone / rare mineral. The answer was Hackmanite, but the two are very similar, and members of the sodalite family. So that was a really, see, that's why that's not guessing. That is a great answer based on education. And yeah, no guessing involved there. There was definitely education. So well done. Number 2, he wrote no, as to it being magnetic. Probably got thrown off by there not being any iron in it. But remember, I give you all the information in the show to go back and think that even if something has iron in it, it doesn't have to be magnetic. Because remember, I did the magnet to pyrite. Pyrite's made up of 2 elements, iron and sulfur. Whole reason why it's not, but just remember that because iron is in something does not mean it's magnetic. And oh, I would just love to tell you about why and the hows to that. But that yeah, that's another story. Maybe one day we'll get there. All right, so and grossular, you got a difficult one, right? So well done there, Mr. Anthony. And remember, he's the one that said, and everyone, that the comments are really looked forward to by everybody, and that is reaffirmed by several others. Miss Penny in Quebec, and of course, can't forget our still youngest rock hound, Mahali. Hello, Shawn, Raven, amazing GSN crew and fellow rockhounds. Thank you for another great show. Love the Cavensite, the Wolfenite, Vanadinite specimens, and good choices. Good choices. Trivia, question 1. Somewhere from the recesses of my mind, I dug up Hackmanite. Wow, that's a difficult one. And well done to you. Question number 2, yes, You got that one right. And question 3. I think it was the green slice in the set, not the aventurine. So she's going back, and see, that's what I mean. To recall, what the mind does is it pulls in information from all the other areas that you heard, and takes all that and groups it into and narrows it down to your best answer based on that information. So she remembers seeing a green slice. Remember, I had that incredible set of gem slices, which, you know, I found that even 6 piece were like $77. You would never find a set like that, so unique, sliced so thin with the unusual minerals in it, except there. So I was surprised first time around it didn't sell. I'm giving it one more chance. If not, after that, guess what? It's going to become my mobile. And I don't mean as in something to drive, but it would look cool hanging from the mirror, wouldn't it? Glittering and all. I think it was the green slice in the set, not the aventurine, but that's all I remember. Oh, you did so good. Well done. Anyway, well done. Our local gem show is this weekend, so I'm looking forward to spending a couple of hours there on Sunday. I will eventually get to the Mineral Club, but they are only open 2 evenings a week for a couple of hours each, and Saturday mornings for 3 hours. That's it for this week. I wish everyone a wonderful week and hope to see you next week. So, then, she just said, Shawn, the rest is a long list of requests, so no need to read it on air. Let me see if there's anything important here. I don't know if they have sold or they no longer have access to them because some date back to July. And see, that's what I was telling you. Shows can go back even further than that. Doesn't mean the item has sold. I have things in boxes over here that maybe I showed them once 6 months ago and haven't shown them since. And yet the item's available. It's important, write down that number, and just because the sales rep says we don't have any information on that item, or they may say it dropped out of our inventory database on such and such a date, that if they say it like that, that means it hasn't sold and it's just come back to our inventory and it's taken out of the Gem Shopping's database. Doesn't mean it's sold, so keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged because things may still be available. Now, so she goes on to say, please ask customer service to contact me for payment. So 11 items. Bless your heart, Miss Penny. 11 items she had listed. She even listed the name of them and the price. Miss Penny. 1. And I don't mean 1 in the system. I mean 10 of 11 sold. So she says after that, that's it for now. I'll see how many of these are available, and then I'll bombard you with more. Yay! That's awesome, Miss Penny, because you know what that means? That means you still get to keep shopping. Because all you got, you want to guess which one? Think in your mind. Out of the 11, I'll give you a chance for a moment. You can pause your TV right now. So that you can think, out of the 11, which one do you think was the one that was available? And she wrote Florida clamshell, Tanzanite pendant, amber cutting rough, African amethyst trilobite, Australian green sapphire, kyanite, and citrus. And I was showing this to Raven this morning as we were getting ready. And this is Scout's honor, truth, whatever you want to call it. The item that was available was the item I told Raven. I said, okay, we showed it, I think it was 2 more times, and we both wanted it. We both wanted to keep it. And we said, we're just going to take it back home. And that means it's meant for us. And like I said, people like her and I, we have no problems with not selling our inventory. I know, not a thing you're supposed to say, but when you're as passionate and you love this stuff so much, oh, I gotta take this rock back home? Okay, no problem here. We didn't have anything else like it, and it was an amazing, amazing deal, and I was so surprised no one else had bought the item. I'm giving you time to be thinking, Miss Penny, on your guess. I was surprised nobody did, because it was loaded with fossils. It was the Fort Drum clam with the calcite crystals and the potential for that big whole clam shell. And it was, I'm not even going to say the price, really inexpensive, because I had discounted it. And it was big. It was cabinet quality. The whole thing was a very impressive cabinet quality piece that, you know, especially from you being in Quebec, you're talking about the opposite end of the northern hemisphere, you know, coming from an item coming from Florida. And not too many mineral specimens, except the corals, beautiful corals, come from Florida. So for that to add to your collection, what it is, it's impressive. It's big. And remember what I said about the China cabinet to all of you? Be gentle. Take grandma's china out, wrap it up, put it in a box under the bed, and put all your rock and mineral specimens into that cabinet, and never think about using it for china again. More, you know, people walk by a china cabinet, they glance, they go on. You put rock and mineral specimens in that, you put rock and mineral specimens up on a bookshelf on either side of the TV, they'll be looking at the specimens, not the TV, or asking you questions about them. And what rockhound doesn't like to talk about their specimens if someone notices or is curious about them? And that clam piece is one of those pieces. It's just an attention grabber, and it was so expensive. Lot of look for the money. Well done. Okay, so Miss Penny, you can start all over with your last list. Bombard me, and you can even, you know, send in earlier another list so we can be working on it and checking it to make sure I don't have the items between the office at home, the office here. We want to get the items to you. So, well done. I liked your list. Let's just hope that more will be available next time around. All right. Then Miss Penny has another note. Just a quick note. Just like Mr. Anthony, I too enjoy hearing other people's comments. Whether they are sharing good news, bad news, their purchases, their work, or just their daily thoughts and routines. I would like to hear from all of you. And that just tells me that there's a warmth and that this show extends beyond a monetary platform. Truly, it's magical. The way things have happened in this show, truly magical. Miss Barbara in New York. Hi, Professor Raven, GSN crew, and the whole Rock family. Thinking about pearls, I recall visiting local history museums in the forts of Ajman, I probably mispronounced that, I'm sure, and Dubai, having exhibits tracing the Persian Gulf natural pearl diving industry back 7,000 years. Pearls and pearl trading was the start of many of the glittering port cities and emirates we know in that region today. Yeah, I was talking about the crown jewels last week of, well, what was then Persia, now Iran. And out of all the different countries' crown jewels, I think the picture of the Persian crown jewels was really some of the most classic. If I ever was to think of a pirate's treasure chest of jewels, it was the way, maybe it was the way they had them displayed, but it was a treasure chest of the Persian crown jewels. Huge, beautiful, natural pearls, and it was really centered around pearls. And believe me, a big natural pearl coming from those giant clams, thinking about the value to those. And yeah, so I can see why you would be enamored as well. Wow, the boys' new toys really get up close and personal with your specimens. Have fun practicing downstairs with us for a while. It's a treat. So, apparently, along with Miss Cindy saying what a great clarity to the, I don't know, the pixels that we're shooting in now. HD 10,000 or something. Either way, that's all I want to hear. How fantastic the shots look. And there is, I mean, for us, we need to get and look down into those little pockets and all. Dave's great at it, Latif's great at it, and that's why Awesome is so wonderful about just keeping only a couple people on the camera here that, because they really know kind of where to shoot, what to shoot, and what, you know, what I'm looking for that I want to show you out of a particular specimen that might have, you know, 50 nooks and crannies in it. So thank you for that, Miss Barbara. That's a nice compliment, and really a compliment that is not to me, but to Dave and to Asif for putting together the equipment and team that knows how to use those goods. As to this week's trivia, Hackmanite is our tenebrescent sodalite family member. Triplite is magnetic because Mn+2 is paramagnetic, and Hibshite is a hydroglossular garnet. Boy, Miss Barbara, she is a smart one. And if I can get the title of professor from Miss Barbara, then I feel like I have accomplished something. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the magnet info. I'd love to play with the neodymium one, but I'm afraid I might accidentally put it in my shirt pocket and change my pacemaker settings. I laugh, but that is every bit a possibility if there's anything magnetic. Or, you know, that's how you wipe out, well, in the old days, before everything was digitally recorded, you know, oh, what I would have done to my 8-track player and cassette player and everything. Yeah, you can wipe out all that stuff. Magnets don't do well, especially the neodymium ones, which, you know, I tell you what, those magnets are amazing. You can have more fun with little kids and under a table, making something move above the table by, you know, waving a magnet underneath. You know, that's, for my son, he probably, about 18 months, and then he figured it out. I mean, you know, yeah, he was one of those. Couldn't have a lot of fun when the kid's smarter than the parent by the time they're 2. But, yeah. So, K&J Magnetics. In case you missed it, I won't make you go back and watch the last show. They're excellent. Sign up, if nothing else, for their info. They don't bombard you letter, because what it does, it tells you all the different things you can do with these magnets and what you can create with them, and it's really fantastic, really interesting, if you like that kind of stuff. Time to remove the window ACs over the radiators so I can put up the heat. We're supposed to get down to 42 degrees Monday night. Fall is here and colorful leaves are confirming it. Enjoy your pumpkin spice everything. Exactly. Well, you know what? Tuesday morning, I know because I had to get up early. Got in the truck. Of course, it has temperature gauge. It happens to be very accurate. 37 degrees. Now, I live out in the country. I'm right about 1,500 foot elevation at the top of a hill. And it was chilly. No frost on the pumpkin yet. And the kudzu has not been frozen back yet, which we can't wait for that to happen. But, because then we can see all the things that stood still too long and got covered over by it within minutes. Raven and a friend of hers who is from New Jersey, happens to be a neighbor, they went out to breakfast the other day, and on their way back she took a country road. Now, when I say we live in the country, so if you live in the country, you say you took a country road, that means pretty much you took a dirt track on their way home, because she wanted to show Raven that because she could see it now, as things started to die back a little bit? A car. All you could see was the very top roof of the car, and the rest was the outline of the car. Because kudzu, now I know some of you across the country, or many of you, if you've never been down to the South, may not know what I'm even talking about. Kudzu, 1920s, it was a vine, kind of like the English ivy that was brought over to control erosion. It has taken over the South. I mean, it is the scourge of the South. If you live in the South, you do not say you like kudzu. Raven says all the time, oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, it's so beautiful as it chokes out everything underneath it, and then eventually as the tree dies, then the weight of it pulls the tree down, and the only thing that'll eat it is goats. Now, there is a kudzu jelly that is made from the blossoms, and that's okay. There's some redeeming value there. So Raven said to me, she said, you know, it'd be neat if someone would make a picture book from the things in the South that kudzu has overtaken. I mean, I'm talking about light poles, fence lines. All you see is a fence line. And okay, so if you don't know what kudzu is, just picture English ivy then over everything where you cannot even see what's underneath it except the outline of whatever it was. And I'm talking about even houses, older homes, completely covered over. And I said to her, I laughed. I said, many years ago, I was at a cabin up in Sky Lake, I eventually ended up living there, which is in White County, outside Helen, Georgia. And in the restroom, as I guess a restroom reading booklet was exactly that. It was a book of items that kudzu had grown over. And I tell you what, it made you want to take longer in there because you didn't want to miss a single page. It was pretty neat to see it all, even though I have most seen all of them in real life, but it was neat to see buses and just all kinds of things covered over by kudzu. It freezes real easy. So first frost, bam, it all dies back. But I tell you what, as soon as spring comes, it all grows back. The only thing you get to see is groundhogs love to make their interwoven, interconnected little tunnels in the kudzu. And so if you're near a kudzu patch, they're often near the road, so you gotta be careful. Groundhogs are kind of cute. Yeah, so that's kudzu. By the way, the vines, they make amazing furniture. Now, that is the other redeeming factor to it, is the vines are easily woven, last a long time, and yeah. So when we talk about invasive species, that's the plant one down here that's the scourge, which reminds me about Brad. A few weeks ago, Brad was talking about the that bug. And I meant to bring it up to him then because I had already heard, what was the name that he said about it? Already heard about that invasive, kind of like a beetle or a grasshopper, whatever it was, and you know, you're told to go out of your way, kind of like the Burmese pythons in South Florida, except they don't eat your children, to step on them, because invasive species are just that, invasive, and they will completely change the local ecology of places and can decimate the native populations. So yeah, when you're bringing in a plant or seeds from somewhere, and that's why you're supposed to, when you go through customs and you're supposed to declare, do you have any plants, fruits, vegetables? That's what they're trying to prevent, is think about the zebra mussels. Yeah, read about those, see what they've done. So anyway, one thing that doesn't happen is, until there's a volcano, there's no invasive rocks. If the rock is there, unless you're in my backyard, and after I've cleaned out all of my tumblers, someone one day is going to be digging in my backyard, and they're going to find rubies, they're going to find all these amazing stuff. Then they're going to all of a sudden come across these tumbled stones and wonder, now, how did these bright tumbled stones got there? I don't know. But that's the only way they'd be invasive, because rocks only move around when man moves them or Mother Nature. And if Mother Nature's moving a rock, yeah, you better go run and hide, because it's called a volcano. All right. And with that, Miss Barbara, let's see. Oh, she also told me about the John Kovula's link that she said, so I'm going to check that out for his, just someone I admire, very smart guy, much smarter than me. So, okay, let me see, did we get all that? I think so, and that's it. So now, okay, radiators. We don't know what a radiator is down here, by the way. A radiator is something that's in a vehicle. But we all know, if you go up north and stuff, and all of a sudden you see this little coily thing in the room, you think, oh, what's that? And it's wintertime. You think, oh, and you go over, you get curious, and you just sit on it because it looks like something you can sit on. Yeah, you don't sit on it long, do you? No, radiators can be very, very hot. And there was never those warnings on them. Radiated heat, but that's a nice heat. I like the type of heat the radiators put out. Okay, so that's it. We have added all the names to the list, and we have drawn the winner. And this week it is Miss Barbara. Yep, you're the winner, Miss Barbara in Brooklyn. You know, there might be some trivia envy, because people really wanted me to sell what you're getting ready to win. Let's show you what you have won. Look at this. Oh yes, nope, none are for sale, but she has to like. Now, which is, I have shown you these, and I have sold some of these before. It's a type of andalusite, and remember andalusite, polymorph to andalusite. You should know this by now. It was a trivia question at one time, meaning a polymorph, meaning the same chemically, except different crystal system. So the polymorph to andalusite is sillimanite and kyanite. Look at these. These have two nice crosses in them, hence the word. Now, some people pronounce it chiastolite. Others go by more the Greek. Now, it's from the Greek word. Now, this is where Penny, who is Greek for certain, would know a lot more about pronunciation than I would. But it goes by, I think, the way it was saying was a hard CH, like a K, like as in chiastolite. So chiastolite, take your pick, I think. Either way, it is a really neat mineral. Now, these have been tumbled, but what it is, creating that cross effect, you can see the crystals very well defined, and it is carbon, the element carbon, that creates that cross effect. And kind of like, we won't get exactly into the reason why or the chemistry why, but trapezium emeralds, how they have the six, trapezium is the sugarcane grinding wheel, the name given to it. And so because of the crystal system to emerald being hexagonal, it will create a six-spoked wheel, is what it looks like for the trapeziums. Oh, I used to sell stunning trapeziums. I mean, you know, 5, 6 figure trapeziums in the emeralds, which are stunning. But these are absolutely gorgeous nonetheless. And I thought I'd give away two to whoever was the winner, so that if you wanted to, you could share them with someone else, because you just don't always run across them. Or if you do, they're not always as impressive or don't have a well-defined cross. Like, look at that one. Almost the right proportions, 1/3, 2/3 for the intersection. But you can see the twinned crystals, or what appears to be the twinning of them, and then they're tumbled. So these were two really nice specimens. Origin, I couldn't say for sure, and that's rare for me. I mean, I'd love to say that they were from where many of them are from Spain, because Andalusite, named after Andalusia, which is a district in Spain. But believe it or not, some really, really nice ones are found easily right here in the United States and in New England, of all places. So happy hunting if you go rock hunting on those. You get both of them for free. Well done to you, Miss Barbara, and everyone else. Yeah, all right, let me put those away, and we'll be right back with the start of the show. It is the time of the bewitching season. Halloween is just around the corner. And to go with the Halloween theme, here at Gem Collectors with Shawn, we're bringing you the perfect mineral specimen to be given away with every purchase. Could there be a better item than a pseudomorph, a mineral that changes from one item to another? Whoa, look at these. We're doing a little Alfred Hitchcock for you. A pseudomorph is a mineral that is kind of like a pod, a seed pod, that takes over the specimen, and arm by arm, limb by limb, crystal by crystal, it replaces it with another pseudomorph, meaning to change shape. To change shape. Could there not be a better representation? Whoa, you can see how square and pyrite looking these cubes are. But goethite doesn't form like that. But when it replaces the pyrite, one cell at a time, that is what you get. And you will also, as you can read, if your tongue hasn't been taken away yet, one free item till the end of the month, until the end of All Hallows Eve. You will receive one free while they last with each purchase order. And I highly recommend you get in on these. We will see you then. What better item to follow up with then? Look at this, a skull. I show very few skulls. Not that we don't have them. We have, well, actually that is Raven's most #1 collectible thing. Leave it to little Spooky Tooth herself. Maybe I'm the one Spooky Toothless. But anyway, all the skulls that she has, and she just, anyway, I just told her, I said, yeah, we got a little argument over this one. She accepted it. She thought it had all these kind of rutile crystals in it and all. No, darling, that's your other one. Or was it your other 3? Or was it your other 300? Look at this. Look at the size of this. See, until you have it some kind of size representation next to it, you never know. That could have been like 1 inch large. This is amazing. This is a really big specimen. It does have chlorite. It has hematite in here. And you never know if Oh, look at that. Okay, you see the see the line? See when you get these straight parallel crossings? That shows you that it is part of a bigger, what would have been a bigger crystal, when you get parallel lines like that. This is really cool. And in hydros, every bit possible. But you can hold that heavy thing. Look at it. Well, 8, 9, okay, so that's almost 2 pounds. Almost 2 pounds, and on a light base, it will light them up. Look at that. That's just a little weak little light. Look at that. You know what? I didn't do that at home, checking it for anhydrous before I have, silly me. You'd think I would know better. But that's the neat prize for you guys. So look, if you put this, on a light base, look at that. And it takes a very weak, very low wattage, like nightlight bulb would do fine. Well, what a great nightlight that would make. All right, look at all that. There is a lot left to discover. We have a lot to go through. I could talk about this for a lot longer, but I'm not, because you know what? I'm going to leave it to discover you, because what I'm asking for this and the size and the weight for it, only one opportunity on this big one, and that in the skull world is considered very large. Price on this, how about this? $95, only $95. That is a piece to be collected, enjoyed, and enhanced. And by the enhanced, I mean do something creative. You can get those light bases at those hobby stores. We used to have them years ago with the shows, they would give it and keep up. No, you can just go buy exactly the one you want at the hobby stores. They're like $15. If I had to sell them, they'd be more. So take advantage. Now, I'm going to leave that there for a moment, because we're going to look at this next item that goes along with it. In a way, item 1139623, and like I said, almost if not every item, or pretty much, you're going to see today is something you have never seen before. And keeping this one right here, let's add to it. How would you look at that? Now, that is a piece of quartz. And just to show you, because again, until you have some kind of reference, it's tough to see just how white that is. Look at that. Yeah, no, look at that. That is clear, colorless quartz, indeed. And so, skulls always look really cool when they're grouped together, when you have a couple of them. And that's why I leave that there for the moment, okay? So, clear white, it's not this one. Look at this. And again, I'm not going to get into details into looking in it close. Oh, wait, except for maybe one thing. There is irises in this. And maybe I'll just give you, maybe Latif will just give you a quick spin for a moment and see if we can't catch one of those irises. Because remember, the irises, they're like opal. Until you turn it a certain way, you may not see the rainbow reflections until you hit it just at the right angle with the right lighting. And there's one right there. Look at that. See what I mean? It's just like one little spot. And why there and not somewhere else or all over? Well, they all over. Angle and lighting. And there are many more. But I just wanted to show you, I'm going to let you discover the rest of them, because you can have all the fun and play around with that guy for the, silly opportunity, price-wise. Yeah, this is pretty silly. $38. $38 on that. All right, so, this, look at the size of that. 95, 38. What could possibly be next? I have one more skull to show you. And I'm telling you what, I do not have another one of these, and I have not shown anything quite like this next skull. And I'm going to take a minute or two presenting it. And we'll remove those two in a moment, but we're going to keep them there for a size reference just for a moment, because all the attention needs to be on this next piece. It is item 1139023. And this actually came from a friend's mine in Queensland, Australia. Yeah, I'll give you a quick look. Boulder opal skull. All right, just for a size reference of how it might look at your home if you got all three pieces. Wow. Okay, we're going to remove these other two, and then we're going to take a little better look. You can see, look at the polish for one thing. Now, boulder opal is made up of ironstone. It's difficult to polish. It's a lot of different harnesses involved in it. Now, already from the length that we're looking at this now, you can see the fire coming out of the patches. Look at it in that eye even. It even looks like, wow. All right. You know, I'm kind of jealous of his teeth. I might need to take one of those out. Maybe one with a little fire and might do good.
Get one made of malachite.
There we go. One made of malachite. Oh, Asif, I just realized what you were trying to do. Oh my gosh, the guy has learned too much. Oh, wow. I wish you could see the camera in my face right now. I'm in the dark, my face is red, because for those of you that don't know, malachite is a copper substance, and what does copper do? Kills you. In the case of malachite. What a great Halloween theme, and I love you too. Wow, awesome. See, yeah. You know what? That's what I tell you. These guys know more, and I'm just going to say it, because I can say it in this show. These guys know more than many hosts that you have been listening to for a long, long time. Yeah. It's the guys behind the scene have a crazy sense of knowledge, and Asif was just strutting his stuff right there and knew how poisonous that malachite can be. Wow. I thought it was just a cute little comment. I was picturing this nice little banded tooth, how pretty it would look, and then I realized the real depth of the meaning to his comment.
Bury you with a smile.
Bury you with a smile. Oh man, where do I go from here with that one? Well, I think he still loves me.
And then guess what? We'd see your skull.
Show me only after I'm petrified. All right, Mr. Latif is going to take us on a tour. I'm going to show you how much opal is in this guy. Look at this. Look at this. There is such a nice amount of evenly spread. It's not like there's just opal in one little area. No. Get to looking at this, and the fire tells the tale. Because it's not, look at this. Okay, so that's where I was going, Karoy, before before the Grim Reaper was coming after me. Karoy opal. Now, Karoy. You wonder why us hosts have such a difficult time. Hold on. I'm going to pull a tooth. What's back in here? What is that hunk of opal right back in there? Wow, look at that.
You can drop your nose.
Look at that. Gee.
You can go to it. Go ahead.
That's a cavity I'd like to have. Okay, Karoy opal is a particular type of boulder opal that has a particular pattern, and it's recognizable by the swirls like this. See these little semicircular swirls? That's pretty much one of the best ways to recognize it. Versus just more elongated straight lines. Yeah, so this actually came from my friend's mine who you have bought other boulder opal pieces from. You know, here, this area right here, this pattern, that is a perfect display of a Karoy boulder opal pattern. I'm still laughing inside, actually, and that's why my mind's drifting to us. I think that was pretty funny. He actually was the one that gave me the idea to do the giveaway, so I'm going to actually credit him for being the one to get you all a free item. Okay, look at this. Look at this brain. This brain is showing more fire than, yeah, well, you know, so there's some lobotomies that could be done around here and replaced. I wouldn't mind having an opal brain. Well, maybe I already do. So, okay, remember the back of the eye, what we were seeing? Look at that, it's even round, and that is not man-made. That was a natural little, what do you call it, the retina or something like that? In there. Look at the color. This is what is valuable. This is what makes this, look at the color, distinct and separate from other ironstone boulder opals. Oh, there's the tooth I want, right there. Ah, yeah, let me just snatch that guy out of there. The opal doesn't quit. You know, this would be a neat, if I had a show upstairs or something, I would have this around for my show every time I would show an opal, because there is a lesson to be learned, especially boulder opal. This tells us a story, except everybody would be too busy looking at how beautiful the piece is and not what their other item they might be trying to sell. Look at this. Okay, so look at this entire layer. Now this is more of what you would normally see in a standard boulder opal versus the choroid. The choroid material will have these classic little semicircular patterns that, you know, we've only got one really portion of this. Here's the other neat thing. Let me show you. This piece is a real collector piece. It is signed. Oh yeah, it is signed. And so let me catch the light on this so you can see the A. Here it is. Here's the A, and so the ironstone's real soft, so it's actually easy to engrave in, but it's also, because of the hard and soft areas, makes it difficult to see. AF, and then it is numbered. There is a number here, and then it extends here, and I'm going to leave it up to whoever is the one to get this to determine exactly what the number is. Look at this. What is really cool is a lot of times boulder opal will have opal, silica, but it will not be precious opal. It won't be opal with a play of color. It seems that almost, and play on words there, seem, it seems that almost all of the silica you see has some play of color. Look at that. Look at that. And what do I always say? We're looking at just the exterior. Do you think the opal stops right there and there's no opal on the inside? No. So when you see fire here, you see fire there, you see fire, in other words, the entire piece is shot through with opal. Of course, when you get it home, you're just going to slice it up, right? You could. It would make a lot of valuable cabochons. But wow. Wow. So let me show it to you in my hand. Here's the other thing that I was really proud about the carver. He got a great polish on this piece. It's really difficult to polish because ironstone has different hardnesses. With each different color is going to be pretty much a different chemical makeup. And okay, so here's perfect. Here's a perfect example. All right, look at the dark brown and look at how high the polish is. Go right next to it, boom. Look at the white area. Not nearly as high of a polish. And it all has to do with the chemical makeup of it. I don't think I have seen an affordable, you haven't heard the price yet, but I'm already telling you right now, for what this is, an affordable opal skull ever like this. But my friend, and his name's Roddy. And yeah, and even Mark the opal hunter here, he knows him, and all those all Australian opal guys are crazy. But hey, do you remember the ironstone spheres I sold? It's been a few years ago, but I had like 30 or 40 of them. They all came from Roddy. They did not have much opal. This piece has a lot of opal. Let's go into the teeth once more, since I have a personal interest in teeth. And up in the nasal passage. You know, here's what's the neat thing. I like that they get the anatomy actually right about a nose. You know, our nose is cartilage. So this is the way a skull actually looks like. The cartilage isn't part of the bone. So it, as you can see, shouldn't be shown there. And it's not. So they got that right. They got their, you know, yeah. Look at this. So, and the teeth. So now, what if on the inside of this piece there was a huge hunk of boulder opal? We don't know. There could be. But I tell you what, if that right there, which you could go in and hand polish that, those of you like Anthony, could polish that up and give this guy a, well, I can't certainly fault his teeth now, can I? But I don't know. Yeah, well, Raven doesn't know I have this one, but it was never officially given to her as a gift. She just kind of like took it over. So hopefully you guys will get me off the hook and purchase it, and it will get out of here before I am busted. All right, this is stunning. This is probably going to be, for the season, the most valuable skull. Not that we have by any means, if you saw some of our other skulls. But for opal, yeah, this is. This beats, this will be the nicest opal skull. This is an item that will impress not only your rock and mineral friends, they'll be over the top because they'll know what it is, but anybody, they'll say, you know, when you tell them and look at it and then, you know, understand that this is a gemstone made into a skull. And it's not one with just a little patch or two of opal. It is shot through with opal, which always, of course, makes me wonder what I'm giving away on the inside. I found the other piece, by the way, to that opal piece of potch that was sold to me, and it ended up having that black crystal opal in the middle. So maybe I'll bring that in and tell the rest of the story on that one. All right, I have this at a discounted opportunity for you, and it will never be less expensive than what I'm getting ready to say to you, and it will probably only get one shot. If it's not sold in this presentation, after this presentation, and remember, if you buy it, you get the free pseudomorph to go along with it. You know, I could just keep looking at that. Though that was so beautiful. And you know, hold on, one second. Oh, I forgot to look on the HD camera over here. Goodness gracious. Boy, that is not like my black and white TV I grew up with. I would have thought this thing was just a rock. This area right there really is beautiful. Don't you think, Latif? Isn't that thing cool? Okay. We're going to make this one only $388. I kid you not. $388. Latif's doing backflips and how cheap that is. $388. Think about this. Think about what you would get for $388 in a boulder opal. In a boulder opal. What you would get would be probably a cabochon of about that size right there. And there'd be nothing wrong with that. But to get a whole skull, wow. Impressive. Oh, wow. And if you really want, get all three. No limitations. Get all three of those skulls. What a display that would make, huh? That would be a really something to add to the collection and to show off. Okay, now, next. This is exciting too, because it's a little bit along the lines of Halloween as well, because we're going to go back 100 million years to item number 113, 8823. 113, 8823. And I have not shown you, and I'm even Cheapskate Shawn is going to even include a stand with this. Look at this. Look at this. Uh-huh. Yeah, you have not seen an iridescent. Isn't that something? You like that, Latif? Isn't that cool? Look at that. It's not just one-sided either. You get the whole thing. Both sides. Yeah. See, Latif just said, wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. And it is. Now, we know that there are very few organic gemstones. In other words, things that have been raised to the level of being considered a gemstone, yet have an organic beginning, like coral, pearls, and now the latest one that was added a number of years ago, decades ago, was ammonite. Ammonite coming from the fossil ammonite. Now, those are mostly all from a particular type formation coming out of Canada. And irregardless, very few are ever complete. And when I saw how they mine the ones in Canada, I was actually quite surprised how they do it. And it's with a lot of super glue. As they remove the shale, they keep the existing the shale and the shell. So the ammonite or ammonite that's on the shale, because they always look best when they're shown as part of the in the matrix, right? So they use boatloads of true super glue with an accelerant to harden it even faster. And this is done with a big backhoe that only takes away about an inch of the face of the shale at a time. And when they see a little bit of a fossil presenting itself, they stop and then they hand dig around it. They apply the super glue to keep it together because it becomes extremely fragile. What happens is the calcite, now remember, see, this is almost perfect because I've taught you about calcite and I've taught you about aragonite and how one is a polymorph of the other. And so what happens is the shell, which is mostly of calcareous nature, calcite nature, is actually changed to aragonite. And aragonite, with its lamellar nature, in other words, layered nature, diffracts light in between those layers, creating that reflection. Look at this. Now, for this being a non-Canadian specimen, this is one of the finest ammonite specimens I have ever seen. Now, if you look at this, this is completely solid. This is just a little, what would be a, see, my fingernail doesn't even catch in there. So it's not a fracture or a crack or anything. It's just a Mother Nature, but it's not been glued. I can't even feel that. So I don't even know how that got there. But certainly nothing that was glued together and then it disappears from there. So I always check out all those things. Look at this. Look at the colors. Look at the colors and the angles. Double-sided. if you took a saw, and this is how they do it, they saw right down the middle, and then you open it up, and that's where you can find your cavities that are either filled in by calcite or have still open pockets where you see the calcite crystals. It is 100 million years old. 100 million years old. I may not have put that in the information, but I think you know by now these are 100 million years old or so, the Madagascar ones. The ones in Canada around 70 million years old usually. This has the complete swirl. Now, it's a type of cephalopod, so it's related to the nautilus. So what it would do, its little tentacles came out here, and it had a siphuncle, which is basically a opening that would connect all the swirls and the cavities together, and it could control its buoyancy by how much air it let in or out. So it could stay at whatever particular level in the water column where the food was for it to feed on. Now these, there were many species. They survived several extinctions, and they would not actually grow from small to large, but some would grow no larger than a half an inch to an inch. Other species got as large as 6 feet across. Could you imagine if you were swimming and you came across one of these in the water, staring at you 6 feet across? Oh boy, that would be a spooky thing. I don't know. Every time I keep looking at this, I keep wanting to change my mind about even offering it. And that's why I said, remember, the further we go into our collection, the cooler and neater and more unusual stuff you're going to see. Cheapskate Shawn is giving you a stand with this one as well. You certainly may want to upgrade from it. But I like the clear stands. They don't distract your attention. In other words, your eyes don't want to go to the stand. But I thought I'd give you something to put it in, right? So you can open the box and be able to display it. This just, you can feel the life in it. You can feel the energy. You can feel a step back in time. And then you can just feel the beauty of it. Also, I am curious. I wish I had one of those fancy little x-ray things, could see if there were open pockets in this or not. All right, so all that razzmatazz, the thing about this is it's whole, it's complete. Many have been sawn in half, and you can only buy half. They can get more money by selling separate halves. I don't see complete ones like this, of this quality, often at all. No. This was a treasure that I have had for a long time, and I don't know, decided to sell it. Oh, I should attest, and I will in a moment when I take this down. I bet. I'm looking at this now, and I have a feeling that this fluoresces. I just have that feeling. And we're going to check that out in a minute. Anyway, if you want a really cool piece, and I know someone like, Miss Gabby has the real thing, the Canadian one with a beautiful, beautiful family, but she may want a small representation of a Madagascar one. So, but they're tough to find this nice quality. Either way, it's going to be a fantastic price for someone. $58. $58, you get the stand included. What a deal, huh? It is a deal. And remember, with each purchase order, you get a free pseudomorph, which I think is pretty cool. Because actually, you guys didn't take much advantage of some of the pseudomorphs before. You really need to appreciate pseudomorphs more. They are Mother Nature's rarity. Okay, let me have just a moment to put away a couple of these items safely, and I'll be right back. Okay, so, part of the Made in America collection, and believe it or not very far from right here, from these neck of the woods, few hours up the road into North Carolina, hit the high mountains, keep going a little bit more. What do you get? You get to the Utica Mountains, between North Carolina, Tennessee, parts of Virginia, And let's see, Unakite, Unica Mountains. You think they have anything to do with each other? Absolutely. It was where this material was first discovered. And you're familiar with both of it. I thought one time years ago, I did this as a trivia question. You have bought the green from me, and you have bought the pink from me. And this is when you find the two together. And this material can be found, you know, throughout the world, but some of the finest representations of it, I tell you what, it makes me want to go up there and do a little digging. Unakite. And as we look at this closer, you might be able to spot by just some of the patterns or the crystallization what the green may be. It's none other than epidote. Epidote, which you're very familiar with. The pink feldspar. Pink feldspar. And put the two together and you get Unakite. And isn't this neat? Kind of looks like a little bit like a spider web at the top, huh? I don't know if that, oh, maybe a moon, half moons. Either way, it certainly goes with kind of a Halloween theme. Look at this polish on these. Sterling silver. Now, when you see freeform stones like this, and you see a bezel set, without doubt, they're handmade. There's no machine that can create and hand wrap those around there. Now, yeah, you can certainly get, oh, let's get a 3D printer, let's get a CAD cam. What, you're going to do that for a pair of silver earrings? No. These are by hand, the most least expensively done by a human. And I like, you can, if you ever want them to hang right in your ear, you see these posts, they are completely self-adjusting, and they're not going to break because, you know what, sterling silver, 92.5% pure silver, meaning it's malleable, it's movable. If you want to move this into your ear, you just bend it any way that you want. Wow. I thought that these were really pretty, and they take a much higher polish than, I used to cut a lot of Unakite when I was a teen. You know, it was one of my less expensive stones that I could cut, so I actually cut a lot of, and it was easy to polish. And there's, you know, when you're starting off at 11 and 12, there's nothing more frustrating than getting a Botswana agate and you're trying to put a polish on it and you keep wondering, oh, my instructor told me it would take a polish. And you're sitting there, you know, 2 hours later trying to get a polish because you really don't know what you're doing. But Unakite, opal, turquoise, those soft stones, you know, you can easily over polish really quickly and get undercutting because of the different hardnesses. Epidote has a different hardness than the feldspar. So you learn. Every stone you cut, you learn from. Even if you've cut 100 of them, you're going to learn something new on the next one you cut. Believe me, works every time. And it's only when you think that you've learned it all is when it'll throw you for a loop and you'll end up saying, wow, that's something new. All right, what is something new is the price on these. And you know what? These are actually ravens. I got to fess up. These are ravens. And she wanted to add something to the mix for the day and for the little Halloween special we're doing. And that is exactly what it is. And she gave me an opportunity to give you a price that is a spooky and expensive at $38 for the pair. $38 a pair. You know how long it would take me to roll a bezel out and make those? I tell you who does know. Mr. Ossoff knows. He watched me do, and if you ever want, watch the series, how it's done, and you can find those videos right under the Learning Center, where it says watch Shawn. You click there and then it'll take you to where you can watch an amazing production. I'm still so impressed. Asif was my director, cameraman, and producer of those episodes, and I learned a lot by the end of it of how not to make a video, and that's that would have been every one I would have made. How he very concise and methodical, and showing the tools first. I don't know. I learned a lot. I could go in a whole story about what I learned just from that experience. But what we did was we completely made, from the real definition of the word, a handmade pendant. And if you ever want to see start to finish, I'm talking about alloying the rose gold, rolling it through the rolling mill, hand fashioning it. It was neat. You'd learn a lot. You'd love to watch it. So catch that episode. We also do another one where we make a ring that I wore for a couple years. It was that bicolor sapphire before I sold it in this show to one of you lucky folks out there. And that is how you make a ring using the lost wax method. So I haven't mentioned the How It's Done series. Highly recommend it, because by the time you're done watching those episodes, you will know more than 99% of any person behind a jewelry counter in almost any jewelry store, unless they are a true custom I guess not a store, a studio, a custom jewelry studio. And so you would understand exactly how long it would take to create a bezel for one of these, let alone a pair. And then remember, they have to be left and rights. Yeah. So it's not like you can make one for one, even if, you know, they were the same shape, unless they're calibrated oval, you have to make completely two separate pieces. Anyway, $38 on that. What a deal. Okay, here is, now, I'm going to have to ask Latif to work his magic, because I'm going to show you a mineral specimen that has some of the most fascinating crystals I've ever seen. It is item 11, let me make sure of that before I say it. 113-9423. 113-9423. And let me get a towel here. Let me wet this down, because we don't want to be showing any loops that have dirt on them. I actually brought my good loop today because I didn't want Asif fussing at me. Okay, because it's going to take just a little bit of magnification to bring out the full effect and show you one of the most unusual crystal formations for this type mineral. Now, what I'm getting ready to show you is a mineral I have shown recently, but not this specimen. Like I said, almost everything you're going to see is something you've never seen before. Oh, look at this. Made in America. I am so excited to get to see this on the big screen in HD. Look at this. Pyromorphite. Wow. Look at that. That color. See, it's often the colors of minerals that really can just stand out. Pennsylvania pyromorphite. This is from the well-known, at the time, the Wheatley mines. Okay, they were first opened prior to the Civil War. They closed during the Civil War, opened back up, and they were extinct, meaning the mine no longer operated as a mine after 1920. Pretty much it was done by late 1800s, but then a little bit of start and go, and then on the mine dumps is been what some people have found some specimens since. But this specimen has a provenance and history that I was able to trace back over 100 years. You know why? Because after 1920, nothing like this was available, and that was 100 years ago. Simple math there, huh? Okay. a lot of the Wheatley mine pyromorphites were druzy. Okay, so they were just little druzy, nothing large in crystals. Okay, I'm not done showing this. Okay, now let's see. Here's one side of it. Let's look at the other side. If there's, oh, look at that. There's even more. Let's see if it stands on its own. Oh, you know, I like how they self-display, and that's even on felt. So on a harder surface, it would even be more secure. Okay, you have some big crystals here. Now, that's not the neatest part of this. Let me get my higher magnification out, and you don't really need it. You folks with good eyes can see this with your eye. It's the crystal formation, and is what really on this particular specimen is like nothing I've ever seen. Now, to tell you what pyromorphite is, remember we were talking about this a few weeks ago. I had another specimen. It was, it was a specimen from Germany, I think. Pyromorphite means, morph is to change, and pyro is heat. So it means it changes with heat. And this is the one that when you apply heat to it, it melts, but then as it cools, it crystallizes before your very eyes, which I told you I want to see that. And I've actually saved some little crystals that have come off of others' pieces. The kind of pieces that the Raven collects. And I want to do that. I want to melt it because you know why? Look at the composition. I have it in the formula. PB5, that's lead. PB standing, the old Latin word for plumbum. And the PO is phosphate chloride. So it's a lead phosphate, chlorophosphate is what I would call it, but depends on what kind of chemistry you use, depending on how you. But if you said it was a lead chlorophosphate, I would know exactly by saying that. It's just easier to say it that way than what some of the other ways it can be said. The specific gravity of pyromorphite is a 7. That's kind of scary. I know all this off the top of my head. Now, I could barely tell you what, had for dinner last night, but to know the specific gravity of pyromorphite, wow. Okay, so specific gravity is what it weighs relative to the weight of water. So when it's 7, that means it's 7 times heavier than the weight of water. Now, what is that relative to? Well, gold specific gravity is a 19, and platinum is 21. So that gives you an idea. So a 7 is heavy, You can actually feel it in the specimen and feel the weight. Now, all that being said, Latif, if you could take us in here, what I want to show you is what looks like the end of the crystals. Let's see it without the magnification first, and so I can find one and point it out. So it looks like a celery stalk, I guess, is what I'm going to try to say. Okay, here's what we're going to try. The one we're going to try to find, Latif. I see it right here with my eyes. This one right there. Let's look at the top of that, and I'm going to see if I can't. There we go. Easy enough when you have 35 power. In going to mindat.org, I looked at hundreds of pictures of pyromorphites from this locality. None of them, and I do mean none, had this formation. They had acicular, which means needle-like, or they had columnar, which means just straight up like a barrel, and then a termination flat, or they were hollowed out. These come up and then they have a spray of crystals at the top. There we go. You can see a group of 3 or 4 of them right there. Look at that. Oh, great job. Great steady hand there, Mr. Latif. Look at the crystals right at the top. Now, there are some much better pronounced ones as we get to them that will really help you see them. And yeah, that's a really good one right there. Let me see if I can turn this around at a different angle. This is, you know, when I talk to you about, you get a specimen, let's say you spend $100, $200 on it. It's not something you take home and put up on the shelf. No. Oh, look at that. It almost looks like, I was trying to think of like some kind of, something out of a horror movie. You get it, you get your magnification, and you start looking at it, and you will have so many hours, literally hours of fun, and it's fun when you're a rock hound, of looking at your new purchase. And you will discover things that you never knew. There we go. There is one. Oh, if I had a third hand, the one to the right. You see how it comes up, and then boom, another spray. So what I think that has happened, they call it a secondary growth. So all these crystals formed. We're going to go to another little spot. These crystals formed, and then another growth came and grew on top of them. Now let's look at it from the side here. Maybe I can, oh, here we go. And in trying to find something similar, I couldn't find it. You see how they flare out, and there we go. You see how there's multiple little sprays. So you have one crystal coming up, then at the top you get all these other additional crystalline growths. Like, I don't know, it's like a stalk of celery, I guess I'm trying to think of. I think there's another, maybe a vegetable I'm thinking of. It doesn't quite come to mind right off the bat, but it's unique in the fact that almost every one of these, none of these were hollowed out like many of the Wheatley specimens. None of them were hoppered like other ones. You can see the one back there. Let me turn this. I can catch them better at the edge. Look at the color. Is that not one of the most beautiful colors? You know, a color like this. There we go. There we go. There's three right there that are very much like what I'm talking about. It comes up and then they flare into multiple acicular needles. In other words, acicular meaning slender, thin. There we go. And I'm cannot be exactly sure how. Look at that. There's a whole grouping of them. Now you can see them. Very well, very distinct, because you have the solid core crystal, and then at the top, when you get the angle right, you can see the multiple little growths on top of them. And you can look at this. Let's look at some of these bigger ones for a moment. And you'll find these. Oh, look, okay, wait, look at that one here. It's laying down, but a fantastic representation again. And so looking at, try to find other similar formations, I knew this was rare when I referenced Mindat and could not find anything similar. I'm sure there is another specimen's been found like that, but none that were represented in that #1 directory. This is a double-sided rarity, 100-year-old specimen from the USA, the Wheatley mines. Pennsylvania has so much more than I thought. There we go. Also, you can see some really good representations of those crystal forms. You know, and I was looking at some of those crystals, like I told you last week. Some are like amazing. You think, wow, look at that, that's beautiful. Then you look at the size that it's covering, and it'll say, you know, field of view, truly 2 millimeters. Yeah, so it's this big blown up thing with a really good camera, and the whole thing you're looking at it is a 2 millimeter field of view. Okay, oh, look at that one. See the one with the little spikes right there? That's exactly what I'm talking about. A pineapple. That's what I'm thinking of. It looks like a pineapple coming up, and then you have those, like a pineapple top. There we go, look at that. And that one. There, and that one, oh, if I had a third hand, that one right there. Right there. In the middle. This is stunning. And, oh yeah, it looks like another, kind of crazy for me to part with, but again, it won't be the last item. All right. I have so much more, and I've got a short show and a deadline to make here. So let's do this. I'm going to offer that piece for an outstanding opportunity of only $128. $128 on that guy. Okay, now let's do some show and go here. Let's look at. Oh, wait till you see this. 114. 0223, 114-0223. What I'm getting ready to show you, I have not ever shown this item in the Gem Collector Show. Nope. Nope. I have shown the specimen, but never in this form, which is, take a look at this. Take a look at this. A very incredible, look at that. I am not kidding you. Russian charoite. Go try to find some Russian anything right now with tanaxite. This is what they call from the type locality. A type locality is an extremely desirable piece to get. It's what geological information is based on that locality. Tanaxite. This orange, very rare. It's also fibrous. If we look up here, you can see this is also tanaxite. What you get with charoite also are orthoclase, feldspar, which are your gray areas. You also have then clearish quartz. Clearish quartz, look at that. Little pockets that form in between and around everything else. Ones with tanaxite. When I told someone a while back, oh, I don't like that, it has orange in it, I said, do you know that orange makes it actually more valuable? A lot of people, before they really were familiar with charoite, had no idea of how to evaluate this material. Well, you know me, I do. I've been selling this stuff for a long time. This is drilled. It is ready to go. It is stunning. Look at that. It is stunning. And I could talk about this a lot longer than I have time for, but we'll cover it a little bit more in another show. I want to get to more items. Quartz, feldspar, tanaxite. Now, the formula, chemical formula for charoite and tanaxite are both long formulas, so oh, by the way, see when I tilted it, what happens? There's a chatoyancy that is created by the fibrous nature of the way this forms. This is only $118. Only $118, and you're talking about, I know for a fact that I got that particular piece over 10 years ago. 10 years ago. So go try to find some charoite now. It's all, for the most part, this was the original find was at the confluence of the Charo, where it got its name, charoite, and the Toko River confluence. And good luck finding any more. Did I give you the item number for this one?
No.
Okay, 1140-323. 1140-323. This is the only other one I'm offering today, and it gives the other alternative to it. Look at this. So look at these two pieces. And let's see, I think I'm going to price these the same price, $118.
I don't have that number.
It was in the
Yeah, double check your number.
one. Okay, one. Oh, sorry, it's probably 1140-323.
40?
Yes, sir.
So say that again.
1140-323.
It's not there.
1140-323. Here's the 1140-323. And here, yeah, and here's the information for everybody while I talk about it. So this one, 55 carats, it's 31 by 20 millimeters, agarine. So agarine is the black mineral. You're familiar with agarine. We've talked about agarine. It's been in a lot of the other different minerals that we've had. This has agarine, tinaksite, quartz, and feldspar. Pretty much the basic everything that a charoite will have. Look at, now these are the big quartz vesicles or pockets where the quartz will form. That is a big agarine crystal. Look at the color. This is, and look at the polish. Look at the polish. A lot of charoite can be a more of a porous. Oh, look at that. See that? Chatoyancy going across there? That's what you want. It's drilled. Here's tinaksite.
What's the weight on it?
Yes, sir. The weight on this guy is 55 carats. And if you look up here, you can see the fibrous nature of the tinaksite. Look at these really very cool pockets that are of the quartz. The solid opaque material is gray orthoclase. Fibrous material is charoite if it's purple or lavender. When it's black like that, it's the agarine. Look at that. Look at that. So here's the two together. Same price. Take your pick. It'd be a difficult choice because I love that black agarine right there. Price on this, same thing, $118. $118, your choice. So don't get the items mixed up. That's the one going with the item number you're seeing right now. And let me keep on moving because I see my clock is ticking. Let's go to a quick fun one. 113-9123. 113-9123. This was a item I had that for one reason or another, I must lost the other girl that it went with because I only have one. But you gals, so many of you only wear one earring. I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to offer a fun Colombian emerald. Look at that. Colombian emerald, it is a vermeil piece, roughly a quarter carat. And you get the entire, look at that. I'm kind of silly when I tell you the price I'm going to offer that for. What are you thinking? $24. $24. Quit laughing. You worry me when you laugh. When you laugh. Only $24 on that guy. All right. Oh, this next one. 113. Man. Yikes. I just pulled that apart. Okay, hold on. 113-8923. I got so excited about all these new goodies. But there's so much information I want to tell you about them. But I want to get them to you. I want to show them. Because, like I said, every one you've never seen before, including this next one, which is, I haven't shown you before. You're going to get a stand with this one too. Boy, Shawn really came out of his cheapness to do that. Look at this. How would you like, I'll just go get mad at me if I don't keep this clean. Look at that. A twinned, basically as much of a twinned brucite crystal as you could ever hope for. You know, those look like lemon wedges. They really do. From Killa Sofia, however you pronounce that, it's a magnesium hydroxide, comes with a stand, and this is the good stuff. When it is this lemon, it is never completely transparent, but it is translucent when it's of a high quality, and you can see it often has radial growth, but in the world of the way this forms, this is pretty much considered a twin. Good luck finding anything else even beginning to be similar. That is, could you imagine making a custom piece of jewelry and having that as the butterfly wings? Wow, that would be stunning. And you know what? You could put it up against 100 of the best gemologists, and I bet they would never know what it was. If someone brought that to me and I said, I'll give you $1,000 to tell me what that is, it'd take me about 2 seconds to tell it was brucite. You know why? Because we seen it, we learned about it, and we know what it is, and I'd get $1,000. And they'd be saying, how did you know that? And I say, because I watched the Gem Collector Show with Shawn.
How much is it?
Oh, yeah, thanks. I guess I didn't want to sell that one. It should be. Hold on 1 second there. Sorry about that. Yeah, $77. Only $77. And I tell you what, $77 for that specimen, go do your research, try to find another. There's not. Not in that formation. 113-9723. Okay, Faden quartz. Comes from the German word for thread. Look at this. Look at this. Is there not a thread going right down the middle of this? Look at that. See that? That's where the word and what a Faden quartz crystal looks like. And when we come in a little closer on this, you can see there is some, I love it when there's additional, oh, look at that, little irises, additional crystals as part of it. And you can see that in its formation geologically, something happened in its growth. It changed the angle of it a little bit. Mother Nature comes in, heals it, and binds it all together with that thread down the middle. Faden quartz, that is a classic example, and I love the extra crystals to that. And I could talk about it more, but I want to show you more. Price on that, $28. Only $28. I am moving along here. Item 11, because guys, you don't want me to, 113-9223. You guys definitely want me to get to as many of these items as possible. I will clean up my mess when I am done. So if I can look at this, and remember, with every purchase, you get a free pseudomorph. Oh, look at this. Look at this. You haven't seen that either, have you? Oh, no, sir. Because this is, look at that. I love that. That's where another crystal would have laid right in there. This is a, did I give you a wrong item number? It is 113-9223? Yeah, 9223. All right. Phantom chlorite. And I say phantom, you say, well, where's the phantoms? Well, you don't have to look too far. You can start finding them by looking at the angled, let's see, if we go right here and flip it up. Look at that. You think that it looks hollow. No, that is solid. Here's the inner crystal. And then look at that chlorite. I love chlorite. It can look like so many things, like a coral bed. And then if you catch the angles from the side right, you can see multiple, right there. Let me get my other, I really needed to have been born with 3 hands. Here we go. When we get the angle right there, you see 1, 2, 3, 4. There's multiple layers there. There's other places to be able to view the other phantoms, but I'm going to let you enjoy the fun in doing that. I just know that this is a very unique crystal, and I am offering that entire piece for only $36. $36. Oh, Asif, I'm watching the time. This next item, oh, seriously, what have I got here? What is this? Oh, yes. Oh, Item 113-9823. 113-9823. And yeah, this would go great with anything, but with that skull, a Boulder Opal ring. Compliments of the Raven. Oh yeah, she had to throw a little something into the soup pot. And we actually had gotten that. She has enjoyed it, and you can easily polish it up with just a rouge cloth or whatnot. It's adjustable. See this? Look, you can just easily bend it in or out. It's a heavy piece by way of thickness, but it's still easily able to be adjusted. And so if you want a really cool silver ring, a Boulder Opal, at a super fair price, compliments of the Raven, $58. Only $58 on that guy. I'm hurrying, we're getting to the bottom of the one barrel. Oh my. Oh yeah. 113 needneweyes.com. 113-9923. And okay, you've heard of sunstone? Well, there's Oregon sunstone, then there's Indian sunstone. A lot of people thought that they were the same thing. They are different. This is different. It's, of course, Indian sunstone. If it was Oregon sunstone, it would have copper instead of the hematite. So this is a hematite, and I normally don't like it as much, of course, but in this particular ring, I love it. It has a beautiful reflection and a chatoyancy off of the hematite platelets in this piece. It's one of the really nicest, actually, Indian sunstone cabochones I've seen. Look at that. Look at that. It really, wow. Where's the green coming from? That tag, I guess, picking it up. But a great ring, and $48. Only $48 on that one. Now, it's a size 7.5. It's easily sizable. If it only needs to be made a little bit up or down, then it'd be free. But other than that, it might be like $20 to size it if there's if a big difference in size needs to be done. Item number 113-8723. Now, speaking of quartz, because guess what? That's what that sunstone is. It is hematite in quartz. Let's take it straight to Arkansas, where really in the world's market really has some of the finest quartz in the world, because it's a classic clear white. Look at this. Look at this. This is a beautiful, beautiful classic specimen. Nice termination to the crystals. And if you're just looking for a nice crystal specimen for a gift or whatnot, that would do it great. $18 on that. Only $18 on that guy. And now, let me show you, and then our time will just about be up, but where was, what's this? What's this? Here we go. 113, oh, Shawn, your eyes. 113-9323. I didn't say that already, did I? No. No. And this one is Arkansas quartz as well, except here's the difference between the two. Okay, big crystals here, that's big and showy, but I happen to like, in a way, this one. Look at this. And if you'll take us right down inside this is what I really like about when you're looking at cluster specimens. It's not so much the big other crystals, it's the ones that you often don't see. The little collections of them. Oh wow, look at the irises. That will form, that Mother Nature doesn't get to chip or break, and they will bridge between other. Look at the irises across this thing. Look at this. Look all across here. Well, I could go on and on, but I don't want to run out of time. So, like, right down in here, you have some very unusual quartz formations. This piece tells its own story. Look at that. And it was one of our favorites. One of our small but mighty kind of thing. I'll let you explore the rest of it. Price on this one is an exceptional deal. Arkansas quartz goes for big money. $38 on that. Only $38 on that one. And then, let me see, I think, I guess to be safe and make sure I don't run into the company's time on what the other things they're trying to do, I will make sure. Oh no, one last item. Oh my goodness, I would have been so disappointed. Here's one of the coolest things. Oh yes, this won't take but a couple of minutes because it is, all of you are going to want to see this. Item 113-9523. Ladies and gentlemen, I am taking you back on a tour of history, and this will be the last item of the show. And let me show you. I did a lot of homework for you. This is only a piece of paper right now. See this? I printed it off, but I'm going to show you what I printed. This is one of the coolest things. So let's read this, then I'll show you what we're actually looking at. I was born December 23rd, 1893. Erskine was born July 23rd, 1892, during President McKinley's tenure in office, etc. The next one reads, gold leaf from Washington, D.C. When Erskine and I were kids, the U.S. government, gave these away to visitors. I'll tell you why in a minute. I was about 4 years old when we moved there, meaning D.C., and about 10 years old when we moved to Peoria, I believe that reads. Okay, this is just a picture. I'm going to show you the real thing. I created this little pouch to keep these safe. You will never see these. I tried to search them and I could not find them. What I did find was they changed the gold standard, and Latif probably knows a lot about that. The gold standard was changed 4 different times, and there was a big debate. The gold standard at this time was only $20 an ounce. $20 an ounce. And as they battled back and forth as to whether they should or not, part of the promotion was giving away 24 karat gold leaf. Here are the 3 pouches. There is a proximate, look at this, 24 karat. It is pounded over and over and over again. This is food grade. Now, do not be fooled by buying it on the internet. I saw this for $6, $7, $15, $20. You read the fine print, it is, and it even says gold leaf. It's gold leaf color. It is made with copper and zinc, not gold at all. This is the real deal. The lowest carat it ever is 23.75. This is actually the full 24 karat. There's approximately 15 to 20 sheets in each one. It has the tissue to use as the applicator. I did not want to bend or do much with this. These are only tissue papers. They are sewn together with thread. How can you even do that to make a booklet out of them? Do your research, and I'm sure you'll find out more than I did. Would you ever use this gold leaf? No. You could, because it's the real deal. But this is historical gold leaf with the provenance to prove it. By the way, I know who these people are. You know all that jewelry I had a little while back, the really high-end jewelry and all? The lady that passed away, that I was in charge of the estate, it was her parents and grandparents that this came down through. And with the dates there, remember, McKinley was killed shortly after being reelected in 1901, and it was by an anarchist that assassinated him. It was all tied in to a lot of the politics of its day. Does it, remind you of anything when things get out of control? What can happen? In order, I have, and you get this piece of paper already with it. It's 2 copies. I am selling these, of course, as a set, and I have no idea of the value. They could literally be thousands of dollars. Gold leaf doesn't survive. It gets destroyed really easily, really quickly. It's all there. It's all there. I'm offering this entire package at a incredible deal. Benjamin Harrison was the president prior to that. They were the 2 that were in office. Nixon was the one that finally took us off the gold standard in 1972. He was shot September 14th, 1901. The gold price in 1772 was $19.75. In 1834, $20.69. That's what it was when this gold leaf was made. 1934, it was raised to $35 and did not change until 1973 when it was moved to $42. After that, we were taken off the gold standard by Ford, which now you know gold is almost $2,000 an ounce. If you want a piece of history, you can have it for what is, I'm sure, you know what, that's museum type of material. And last item of the show, and as soon as I can find my piece of paper, I will give you that. Okay, here it is. This is probably foolish of me, only $148. $148, that's the last item of the show. We'll be back with the trivia. You know what? I was so wound up with so many cool things. The desk in front of me, if you could just, it's a mess. And I have to figure out what goes back where, because, when I wrap up something, it is wrapped in, there's 4 or 5 different layers, and all those have to go back together. Anyway, this show was one of the most fun for me to put together. And I hope you enjoyed it, because not only did I have some amazing products, but there are things that I feel really close to for so many different reasons. And to get to share them with all of you, it's one of those love-hate, things. Love to share them, hate to part with them. How's that? That kind of simplifies it. Latif, who actually, I'm not gonna go into detail, but he's a smart man, and he knows a lot about gold, and he knows a lot about that kind of thing. He told me I was a fool to sell the gold leaf, and I agree. I have no idea, because I could not evaluate it. By not being able to evaluate it, leaves me thinking that, if anything, it could be worth no telling. Not because of the weight of the gold or the value of the gold itself, but because of the provenance of it. And what I did learn by doing a little research is buyer beware. And I'm telling you, I read about more ripoffs on gold leaf than I ever thought were even possible. People, these comments, when people were writing in, well, I thought I was getting the real gold leaf. I thought this, until I read the fine print and it said this is not edible food grade. Gold is not used by the human body. So that's why you can have Goldschlager, you know, the little pieces in the liqueur and whatnot, and you can drink gold, you can eat gold off a cake. The body, it passes right through the body. The body has no use for it, has no harm, no foul. You start moving off of that and move into these copper zinc alloys that they're doing with gold leaf and some of these other things, and it's a different story. Also, you don't have a way, you can't take that gold and do an acid test or scratch it onto a block and do an acid test on it, that kind of thing, without destroying it. So how do you know? How do you really know? They make it where it looks exactly like it, but only gold can truly be pounded out as thin as this is. The provenance to that, at 120 years old now, I don't know. There's so many beautiful pieces here, but I'm stuck on that gold leaf. The incredible charoite. Let me tell you one quick story, and then the trivia. One quick story. You know how I found another batch of stuff? Remember how I tell you, you know, that we love gems, minerals, jewelry, everything, and we're very private, you know, our collection is for us to enjoy, you know, privately. And only all of you that watch this show, I feel like you're walking into our living room, because many of these items, the skulls were just, you know, around our house. And when I want something, I just go through it. Well, not all the time, because there was a basket, just a random basket that I hadn't noticed, and it had a bunch of plastic bags in it. And it was down in the spare bedroom. I looked into that basket and I opened one bag. And when I saw the charoite cabs, my eyes popped out of my head. And then some memories started coming back. Yeah. Wait till you see what I'm going to be showing you in the weeks to come. I hate partnering with it all, but what would they do? If I passed away, they'd be filling my grave with this stuff. No one would know how to evaluate it. No one would know how to sell it. I need to share it now, but here's the thing. I like to share, obviously, by giving away the trivia and all that, which is, you know, crazy, but there's something about it. I just want to share with all of you, and that's what I'm doing. So if I'm showing it to you, it's because I probably need the money. So help me out. Take advantage of the buys. Trivia question number 1. What causes... Okay, let's do this. What element... Now remember the words I use. What element causes the cross effect in a chiastolite or chiastolite, depending on how you pronounce it? What element causes the cross formation in chiastolite? Question number 2. Unakite is made up of what 2 minerals? And part B to that, so let's just make it question number 3. Where was unakite first discovered? Where was unakite first discovered? So question number 1, what element forms the cross in chiastolite? Question number 2, unakite is made up of what 2 minerals? Question number 3, where was unakite first discovered? And be as specific as possible. In other words, don't say the northern hemisphere, or don't say a particular country. I need for you to be as specific as possible. Okay, my time is up. Lots of other things going on here, and I got to get out of the way to keep things going. I didn't get to everything I wanted to, though I tried. But we had so many cool things to tell you about, and I wanted to share about that. Yeah, I ran out a little bit of time, but I hope you enjoyed the show. God bless all of you, and you know what? Halloween's just around the corner. I think I will get to see you one more time before that, and I hope you enjoyed the fun, because I did. See you next Monday. Cheers.